Hello, Grace Lutheran members. My name is Rebecca Hadlock. I'm your Vice President of Church Council, and I'm here along with Council Member Kendra Woolard. We have come here today to share with you some information that the Council feels is quite important for you to know and understand, and that will help us guide in the upcoming decision-making and direction for Grace. As many of you know, the Church Council has a retreat every year, and ours this year was at the beginning of March. For the last 3 years since I've been on council, no matter what the theme or the focus, youth and families always comes to the forefront. So this year, we decided to focus on just that, youth and families, how to support them, and how to grow our church. But instead of just talking about them and what they think they might need, we thought it best to ask them first. Our small task force decided to create a survey that had 4 quadrants: questions for adults about church, questions for youth about church, questions for adults about Sunday school, and youth about Sunday school. The survey went out to almost 25 families. Some of the adults were parents and some were grandparents who are involved in bringing their grandchildren to church and Sunday school. The youth ranged from preschool through 12th grade. Some families responded through email and some over the phone with lots of dialogue and conversation. And the questions were simple. We asked both parents and youth separately about different aspects and components of our church service and Sunday school, and also what ideas they might have to better enrich their experience. We assimilated the results and with that created our retreat themed A Vision of 2020. We had 4 lengthy sessions titled A New Lens Prescription, Hindsight is 2020, What Are the Solutions, and A New Cleaning Cloth. 4 things that jumped out, at least for me, were, number 1, that almost every single family responded. This gives us tremendous confidence in that when we were discussing our families, we could do so through their voices. Second was how immensely grateful these participants were just to be asked these questions, and that this was going to be the topic for the retreat. I even got several follow-up texts and emails days later. The third thing was that though the responses were given with sincerity and honesty and love and hopeful hearts, most answers were very difficult and humble to hear, and even more so, difficult to share with council. The last thing was that most adults and children gave answers that were in very many ways similar. And most of what we found through the survey was that the needs of our youth and families are not being met, and we need to head in a new direction in order to better serve them. Making our way through this retreat for 3 days was one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do. And though we felt the weight and gravity, instead of taking the results as a negative, we decided that gaining this knowledge was very much a positive. Your church council members tackled every survey question, every answer, each topic, and each session task with open hearts and open minds. And we decided that instead of the words "we can't," we would discuss how to get to "we can," and what does it look like when we do. We now know this important demographic of our membership better. We know their struggles, we know what they're asking for, we know what they need, and we have a path forward.
So some of the things that we are willing to act on from the church council retreat perspective was 3 different things. The first one was to move forward with Sunday school being on a different day or time, possibly even being a little bit more on the fluid side. The second thing is that I wanted to preface the next portion that when I talk about the word "we," that means not only church council, but those families who need these things as well. So one of the things that they need is that we need other Sunday school teachers, because parents are doing most of the teaching and they need and want nourishment with the ability to attend a Christian ed group. The third thing is that we also talked to Bishop Lori about hiring a youth and family director. And we have her actual full support, since this new individual will provide consistency for the kids as we navigate all of these changes, whether it be COVID, moving back to the sanctuary for our services, the interim pastor, the new pastor. I mean, it is overwhelming. But this particular individual, this youth and family director, is going to be able to support our kids. That individual is going to be able to communicate with the congregation, organize youth-led worship services, right? They're going to be able to build relationships amongst all of the generations within our church. They're also going to be organizing non-secular activities. Some might say that if you can't come to Grace, Grace will come to you. Nice, isn't it? Lastly, they will create more families. So as we move into a new staff configuration, these survey results will help us hire a new pastor and a youth family director, and help us navigate our future with these positive changes. Over the years, we have seen the growing absence of families and young adults, and you rightly have asked for more of them. So we know you are supportive of all we need to work on towards that goal. It isn't something that will happen in a year or two. It will be a process that everyone will need to be excited about. One great example is our graduation drive-by that we had. Our families and our students felt so warmth. They felt warmth, and they felt really just loved when everybody was there for them on that particular day. You, our congregation, will receive many invitations, and your attendance will help solidify the definition of grace and family. If the kids get what they need, they will invite their friends, and little by little, new families will see a warm and supportive Grace family, something that they will want to be a part of. Thank you, and God bless.